Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Welcome back to Talking Real Money, the show on the weekend and the podcast on the weekday. It's an all-purpose audio presentation.
Hosted by your funny money bunny himself, Don McDonald.
That's right. I am the funny money bunny.
Yeah, you are. Hopping right along with whatever you're doing.
How come that's not connecting to my earpiece?
I don't know.
There.
I hear a lot of back talk
You're hearing
there.
some echo there because it's not connected. Now I'm going to punch that button and make it connect.
Yeah.
Just like you can connect by calling us at 855-935-TALK. Like that segue? 855-935-8255.
Really, really good. You're really on today.
I'm a professional.
You're not taking a day off of the egg roll. I can see that.
No
way.
Although I am going to take, and I didn't tell you this yet, but I might as well just tell you here on the air.
Yeah.
I am going to take half a day off on Monday.
What? Why?
I got to take the afternoon off. I've got to go do some work on my old Airstream that I bought.
Yeah, how's that looking?
It's looking pretty good.
I'm excited to see that.
It's
Don,
looking
for
pretty
those of you who
good,
don't know, this has been like a dream of his. Now my
I've
dream
wanted an
is
Airstream for a long time,
especially
yes.
after driving half the length of California last week. My dream is to sit in my backyard and watch the trees and the grass. Don's dream is to drive across the country like all the time. I mean, you would be out on the road day and night.
Like 4 or 5 months.
I know you.
Out of
the whole
year.
idea, but you have purchased a used Airstream.
A used Airstream,
and
1989
you're gonna
Airstream,
haul
and
it
I'm
around.
fixing it up.
Yeah.
It was in relatively good shape, so I've just done some. I put in some new fans and replacing screens, and but I'm a day. See, we're gonna take it for a test run before we hit the road in July.
Yeah.
We're going to take it for a 3-day test run over to Disney's Fort Wilderness.
I didn't know Disney
Resort.
had a Fort Wilderness.
It's a campground in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
So you're
going to actually take it up and like camp out.
hook it up and camp
okay.
because we'll only be like 15 minutes from home if things go badly.
And if this is a test to see how well it works with you and Debbie in like 400 square feet, 3 days.
200, 220 or something.
I don't do that well with a lot more space, so God bless you.
My calculation is that we not only have 220 square feet inside, we have the rest of the world outside.
That's a good point. So the question then becomes, which person is on the inside and which person is outside? That's what I'd want to know. I want that in writing before I get on the road.
I got a portable desk, a foldable desk.
That's true.
And she goes, it's a good thing you can take that outside.
I'll see you. Because all you really need is an internet connection in your computer.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I installed over the weekend. I installed this really cool, where I have it parked is out in the middle of nowhere, and I got one bar. And so I installed this booster. It boosts your internet signal.
One bar. See, now
signal.
when you told me you're out in the middle of nowhere and you had one bar, that sounded like a perfect
thought I was
dream
drinking.
to me. I was like, well, how many more do you need?
I got the bar down
You're
the street.
set, but you're talking about one bar on your phone.
On my phone.
So this is
I
a way
found
to
this
get a
thing.
better signal.
Get a better signal.
Wow.
And what I'm planning to do is I'm still going to do the podcast every day. I'm going to do all the reports. I'm going to do all my regular stuff. I'm
and
just going
the
to
beans back there on the slow cooker, right?
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
a bunny thrown in there, something for a little taste.
If I take up hunting,
we're just
which
kidding.
is unlikely.
It's a chocolate bunny. That's not that other bunny. Come on,
bunnies roasting.
We're not gonna. Don is of all the people I know, you'd be the least likely to kill wildlife and make it a bunny. I don't see it happening.
Things.
So no.
As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, my granddad used to take me fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big fisherman. He loved fish. Here, go catch a fish. I'd catch the fish and I'd go, now what? Put it in the reel, in the creel. I'd go, what? It'll die.
Out of there into there?
It'll die in there. He goes, yeah. We're going to eat it. I said, yeah, I'm letting it go.
That's it. Oh, you were
I
already
let it
catch
go.
and release at a young age.
I was catch and release at a young age. No.
That's the difference between your fishing career and mine. I never caught anything, so that eliminated the whole fishing thing very
My
quickly.
grandfather was a pretty good fisherman.
Yeah.
But I would look at the poor little thing, and it was doing this. You
can't
can't
his
really
mouth,
see it
right?
on
Yeah,
radio,
but you get
but
the
my mouth
idea.
is doing the little, and he's looking at me like with a little going,
Don,
I'm
don't
drowning,
do
I'm
me this."
drowning.
Yeah,
It's like,
you would
I don't wanna
never
drown a
be
poor
able to
little
harm
fishy.
the bunny in that case. Ever.
No.
You'd be really bad at it. Anyway, so you will become. We may do some special events around your Airstream. We haven't decided.
No, I'm thinking about it. I'm
Yeah.
seriously thinking
you may do
about
the Don
talking,
McDonald whistle stop tour or something.
talking real money across America.
There you go.
I'm
Live
serious.
this week from Yankton,
Well,
South Dakota.
We're going. Well, I know the initial stuff. We're going to Charleston, South Carolina. So
Yeah.
if you're in Charleston, we'll see you there. Then we're going to
Are you
near
gonna
Myrtle
post,
Beach.
Post your where you're going to be.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all
We're
right.
going near Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Then we're going up to Greensboro, North Carolina.
Because if you're there, you may as well go to Greensboro. Why not?
Well, no, there's a wedding
oh,
that we
okay.
need to go
What
to.
a surprise!
Then I'm going to near Blacksburg, Virginia.
Because that's where Debbie went
Debbie's
to college.
family,
No,
and she went to college. She has family there.
I didn't know that.
And then from there until Seattle, it's wide open.
It's
we have
free form.
nothing planned.
Wow, that's a lot of opportunity there.
So I'm gonna be down the road. I'm gonna be trolling for catch and release people.
Be careful the way you say
to
that.
come visit. Trolling.
Oh.
Yeah. You get me
Good
in more
Lord,
trouble.
I'm sorry.
855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255.
And you get a free book. Call, get Don's
Free
autograph book and ask a
And
question.
you know, maybe Don will come visit you in his Airstream. 855-935-8255. Don't go away.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do you know what your investment risk tolerance is? Take our free no-obligation risk quiz at talkingrealmoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Make a call to 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Get a free copy of Financial Physics, and even better, get a real answer to your real money question.
Yeah, we'll take
What are you
anything.
laughing
I'm
about?
still laughing about you in the Airstream. I just see you and Randy Quaid with your arm around each other.
Oh, yeah,
That
we're
just,
big
I
buds.
can't help it.
Yeah.
That's just where my
Yeah.
mind goes. So I know it's not going to be anything like that. So, but don't
Well,
bring
a
it
little,
over to my
a
backyard.
little there.
Okay.
There still is the business of hooking up the pipe. Yeah,
That's where my mind went. But sorry.
There still is that. But I on Monday I still have to, because we're going on Tuesday. And I ordered the wrong length hitch, so I got to go fix that. So I'm going to get the podcast
You need to
done
call
early
my
that
wife.
day.
She's into the whole hitch thing with all the trailers.
Oh, yeah, you have all those trailers.
Yeah.
It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK. That's our phone number. Love to help you deal with a money issue of any kind. And Hallie, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call. It makes me very hoppy.
Oh, he's
Oh,
on it.
you funny money bunny, you.
Yeah, well, help us here. Say, please. You're supposed to fix the show, not make it worse.
Not
But
make
go
it
ahead.
worse.
All right.
Okay. Well, this is great talking to you guys. My question is concerning two funds at Vanguard. Both are actually closed, the Prime Cap Fund and the Capital Opportunity Fund. But I realize that you can go over to the Odyssey funds, which are basically run by the same folks.
Do they
Just
close
wanted to
Prime
know if they're
Cap?
in-
Really?
I believe. Let me open this up right here. I've got their.
Wow,
pulling
I'm
it up right
surprised
now.
because that's a
Admiral
very
shares.
popular fund. I would be surprised if they didn't have something similar. Because that has been
Prime Cap. Well, I think I'm trying to find it. The Prime Cap is closed still at Admiral or the
Yes.
Admiral shares.
It is closed.
there
It
at
is
Vanguard.
closed. You're absolutely correct.
Yes.
It's closed. Tom, it's closed. I know you don't want to believe it, but I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
closed.
It's
The darn thing
been
is
a great
closed.
fund.
It is a great fund. Yeah. I'm trying to think of
Gosh,
what's the
listen to you
alternative.
talk about actively managed funds that
well,
way.
that one, yeah, okay. We've got to. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of hate mail this week because you guys are always telling me to use Index, and here you are buying Prime Cap and Wellesley, and I'm trying to come up with what I would. So you're looking for an alternative? Is that what your question is?
Well,
What he's saying, is
you
that there's
can't-
the Prime Cap Odyssey Fund,
Correct.
right? Is that
And
yeah.
additionally, there's also an Odyssey Growth Fund. Now, the expense ratio is about double. The Prime Cap Odyssey Fund is 0.67, and the Odyssey Growth is 0.67. Now, they have another fund called Aggressive Growth, which has done very well, but it also is closed. So I guess my question is, if one wants to get involved in a managed fund, are those funds, Capital Opportunity, Prime Cap, if they're open, and the alternative now is the Odyssey funds, are those good funds? Would you consider, as I'm looking at their 10-year and 5-year
with this
returns?
week?
What'd
you feed these people while I was out of town?
It's okay. It'll be all right. Again, generally speaking, I don't believe that the Odyssey Fund is going to be worth the extra expense ratio long term. Yes, Prime Cap has
past
the operative
tense,
word
always.
The operative word is the past tense word has outperformed its benchmark, which is the S&P 500. But it has done it with substantially. See, here's the trade-off. This is what people forget. They look at that number and they go, "Wow,
I'll sign up for that." Yeah,
they killed the S&P 500. But over the last 10 years, the S&P 500 standard deviation
that's how
is
much
12
things go up and down.
It's the volatility.
Yep.
It's 12.7%. This is just it means nothing in a vacuum.
Yep.
Zero is no volatility.
Yep.
Volatility is the killer of people's emotions. The Prime Cap Odyssey Fund has a standard deviation. This is a huge difference of 15.8%. It is dramatically more frightening and volatile. Dramatically. That is where, and this is always the trade-off.
How many stocks does it hold?
I'm looking.
I mean, this is, to me, one of the other issues is how many securities is it invested in? Because what we find is
147.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're making a bet on a lot of stock. I mean, not a lot, a few stocks in my mind, because we're going to try to get you to own other parts of the market that, frankly, have not been as good as the S&P 500 for the last 10 years, but over greater periods of time have created bigger amounts of money, and especially at times when the S&P is out of favor. See the period 2000 through 2009, where you got help from small and value and international.
And let me just tell you, if you want to increase your volatility to potentially increase your returns, here's what I would suggest you do at Vanguard. You buy the VTWAX, the Vanguard Total World Index Admiral shares. All right? Mm-hmm. That's going to give you the global market.
That's 8,800 stocks right there. Boom.
But you want to increase your potential return. You want to beat that, which is the market. So you want to add a little kicker to that. So what you do is you toss in VSIAX, which is the Vanguard Small Cap Value Index.
Ooh, I like that. So you could you could knock down the VTWX to maybe 80% of the equity holding.
Of the equity portion.
And then put 20% of the small. That way you've got not a tilt as much as we would like tilted, but
you still got a small value tilt, which is going absolutely will increase your volatility and should, because there's a pretty definite relationship historically between risk and return. When you look at what small cap stocks have done over the past 90 years compared to large cap stocks, the difference is astronomical. Small cap stocks have returned like 4 times more over the past 90 years.
It's about 2% a year going back to the 20s. Yeah, so it's a lot of difference. That's a better idea. I like that, Don.
Okay.
Wow, I had a good idea today.
Find the rabbit. Go ahead.
If you feel that the U.S. economy is the strongest and best economy in the world, why would you want to involve other economies around the world that are right now lagging considerably?
I love that. Okay, what you just said right there said it all. Would you rather buy something after it's gone up, or would you rather own something that's not as highly valued as the previous security?
Right. buy low, I think is the idea,
I
right?
think
Buy
you're
low,
right.
sell
And
high.
what has been the better performer the last 10 years? By far, the U.S. market has been far better than international. Number two.
We made the point earlier. We did about the the S&P 500. That's basically the U.S. economy. So in the 90s, everybody said, "Why are you owning anything other than the U.S.? These foreign stocks stink."
Yep.
And then in the 2000s, the S&P 500 actually lost money over a 10-year period and was walloped by those international stocks that everybody said were terrible. You own them because they're part of the global economy. You own them because we are not the be-all and end-all long-term. Yes, we are the strongest economy in the world right now, but sometimes we stumble, and someday we'll stumble again. That I can pretty much guarantee. 855-935-TALK is our number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do you need a little help with your investments? Set up a free, no-obligation appointment with one of our advisors at TalkingRealMoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
At 855-935-TALK. And if you give us a call, you get a free copy of my book, Financial Physics, signed by me right here in my house. Is
that verified? It says that? It was signed at your house on this date at this time.
I'm going to time stamp it, geostamp it. I don't know what else you can do with a stamp.
Oh, I want to go
back.
Let's go back to, we want to take your questions and calls. By the way, a great time to call because you're not waiting for anybody. But I want to go back to this whole debate because it comes up fairly frequently because we all trust.
Fairly, like all the
trust
bloody
the
time.
United States more because we live here, we know it, we know the companies, right, et cetera, et cetera. Now, was there another country where people said that like 30 years ago?
Yeah. Wait.
I've somewhere in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah, names on the tip.
They had like the management programs everybody had to use, and their economy was roaring along. They were buying up a lot of the United States. And
they bought Pebble Beach.
Yeah, they bought, and their market went
But then they sold it back to us at a loss.
Yeah, their market went straight. It's called Japan. Now,
that was it.
Go look at what happened to the Nikkei. Because everybody in the world, it's all about Japan. I was old enough to remember this. It was all about Japan. They were, as I said, all those things I just mentioned, and their market was up. And guess what? In Japan, 9 out of $10 are invested in the Nikkei. Yeah. Nikkei.
Yeah. Oh, you mean stock money? Yeah,
right. The money in the market is invested. Now, guess what's happened?
Yeah, they are big.
Then?
They are big mattress people.
Yeah. They're huge mattress.
Japan.
So if they're not in stocks,
huge amount of cash.
But guess what's happened to the Nikkei since its peak? It's still down, almost 40% from where it was. So you imagine
how long has that been?
Like 30 years. So, and I'm not saying that's going to happen to the United States, but it could. Wouldn't you rather be diversified around in other places that might cushion that blow a little bit?
Well, and the other thing is the United States. While I love driving my my American-made Nissan,
it's a shorter trip in Japan, by the way.
Yeah. That's Japanese.
Skip over to the Korean Peninsula, I guess, or something.
And I love all my American-made computers here in front of me.
Well, good. What?
Oh wait,
and
I bet.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh no,
American,
that was China. This lamp from IKEA.
Yeah,
right here?
Sorry.
Yeah, pretty sure that came from China.
Yeah.
I know this microphone.
I think that's from
probably
Germany.
China.
No, I thought okay.
No. These are. I don't know. Where nobody makes anything here.
I know.
So we need to kind of get over it. It is a global economy. It's always going to be a global economy, and that's a good thing. The other wonderful thing, you think back to there have been bad things happen to countries, and their economies have been completely destroyed for a period of time, and it is the global nature of our human economy that has saved people and kept the value of human capital growing over thousands and thousands of years. So you've got to own it all. And I want to go back to that small cap value thing.
Yeah,
that we were
talking about owning
earlier.
the global stock fund and then tossing in small value to give you a little bit of juice.
In the short run, if you're just looking at recent numbers, and I mean even the last 10 years, you might look at that small cap value fund and go, well, that's a dumb idea.
That's a stinker.
That hasn't done well in the last 10 years.
Yep.
Well, what has done well in the last 10 years? What is the one area that has done really well over the last 10 years?
Standard & Poor's 500. It's up over, I think, 350%. Some huge number.
U.S. large company growth stocks.
Yep.
Now, is that where you want to concentrate your money going forward? The 1990s. The S&P 500 was wonderful.
Over 30% a year, I think, in the last 4 years of the 90s, something like that. Big
and it's been
return.
just about that in the past couple of years, except for 2018.
That should ring a couple bells for you if you're paying attention to the longer term.
Alarm bells.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That
Like
is
wedding
why.
bells?
Or church bells, or
Church bells.
school bells, or
Bunny
jingle bells, or cowbells.
Cowbells, thank you.
Cowbells?
Which you're going to be familiar with in your drive across the country.
Yeah, probably. I was listening to a podcast about cowbells. There was a podcast about Swiss cowbells.
Proving once
I
again
can't
that you
believe all
can
this
do
stuff.
almost anything in a podcast.
Exactly. So listen to ours, too, and give us a call at 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Just about everything you need to know about money can be found at our website, TalkingRealMoney.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Are you doing the things you need to do to enjoy the future you really want to enjoy? Turns out, maybe not. Probably not. There was another, and there are studies, there are surveys that come out all the time. There was another one that was done by the annuity people, I can't remember the name of the retirement something. Hang on, I'll find it here.
Are they paid by the insurance companies?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Be a big surprise.
But that really actually doesn't impact the point. This study showed that baby boomers haven't saved much. Surprisingly. I mean, we find that people have that are our clients, but that's because they tend to be savers.
Well, people that, no offense, call the show or come to a class or chat with us have been savers. There are a lot of people that just have not been, period.
But baby boomers are really terrible. The numbers showed that about 11% of baby boomers have $500,000 or more saved for retirement.
And it's down from there. Wasn't there a recent survey?
89% have less than $500,000.
But wasn't it also that showed about a third of the country, if they had an emergency $400 bill, couldn't pay it?
Oh, yeah, that's the whole country.
Right, that's
but
not
you
just
see,
baby boomers. Yeah,
we're
okay.
talking about the baby boomers.
Yeah, which are
These
kinda,
folks are us.
I know.
We're old.
I know. You got
And you and I are the tail end of the baby boom.
Yeah, by the way, as an aside, because you're always giving me a bad time about this, I just happened to see a video myself because I was at another advisory firm where I did some work a long time ago.
And you finally determined that's not
the
blonde
hair color is not right. I was like, what? Oh, that's right. That was 7 years ago. No problem. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you want to hear? Here's a good one. I got some new tennis shoes, some new sneakers.
Yeah.
They're gray. They're nice. They're Nike sneakers. They're nice looking sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie goes, "You have your new sneakers on today? We're going to lunch. You have your new sneakers on?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, those look nice. They match the color of your hair."
No. She said that?
She said that. I said,
okay,
"Oh, that
I'm
was
going to
mean."
say right
She
now
goes,
she's going to
"No,"
be the one
she
on the
goes, "No."
outside of
She goes-
the vehicle.
she goes,
You're on the inside.
It means you're
Mature.
a silver fox.
Oh, nice comeback. That's a good
that's
spin. Good work. Not going to work. Anyway, you were saying about the survey.
No, I got
but the
totally
question-
lost in
well,
old
no,
hair.
Because the question of the matter is, if you are a baby boomer and you have not saved enough or anything, what do you do?
That's and that's what this the survey found is people are they're starting now. Oh my gosh, in their 50s,
Right.
late 50s,
Yep.
60s, and early 70s, they're now starting to panic a little bit. Get this though, you think that's bad? 11%, $500,000 or more. 89%, $500,000 or less. But
9
of all
out
the
of
baby
10.
boomers,
Yeah, okay.
how many would you guess have nothing saved for retirement. Baby boomers.
I think it's like 20-something%.
Half.
Have zero?
Zero.
Wow.
Nothing saved for retirement. This could really be a problem.
Yeah. Yes, because what's going to happen is then you get to retirement and you find out, well, and a lot of people wake up at 62 and say, I'll take my Social Security, which is generally not a good idea, especially if you're going to live for a while. But you do that, and then you got to live on that benefit basically for the rest of your life. It's not that much money.
No, and it's curious. I know a couple who are early baby boomers. They're in their late 60s, early 70s, so at the beginning of the baby boom. And they retired. He was a professional. He was a chiropractor. They retired with almost nothing. They didn't save. They didn't invest. And they continue to this day to work in a restaurant.
Well, and I was just getting to that.
Tables.
Well, I was just getting to that. There are jobs, because we do talk to people sometimes who retire in their early 60s and are not Medicare eligible. So health plans are a problem. We have a list. I think we talked about this on the show a few weeks ago. We have a list of
the job list?
Yeah, Kim put this together, one of our advisors. It's like 25 places where you can work part-time and get health benefits. Now, you may not want to wake up and go to Starbucks 20 hours a week, but that might be the only option.
You guys need to send me that list, and I'll put it up at TalkingRealMoney.com.
Okay, I'll see if I can get it. I'm always the last guy to get stuff like this.
Yeah, you're just the CEO.
The job list, I'll ask, but they'll
send it to Don.
No
let
problem.
him put it up on the website.
No, because it's valuable.
That is kind of nice.
It is.
And then it makes me wonder about these fire people. Now, they're savers and investors. They've saved and invested. But what if they run out just as they're getting to retirement?
Run out
of money.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. Really bad.
And they haven't gotten all the quarters that they need for their Social Security to boot.
Yeah.
855-935-TALK. Give us a call.
Don are talking real money.
Would you like to talk to a real investment advisor for free? Set up an appointment at TalkingRealMoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Because real money is the fuel. It's what drives your future, and it's what you're going to need a bunch of when you get to retirement.
If you've
lot more than you probably
nothing, call Don. He'll help you out right now.
I'll help berate you. No. Get busy saving, darn it.
Exactly.
I'm going to be the Dave Ramsey of people not saving money.
I saw your podcast talking about Dave the other day, but it was in more of a positive vein.
He was in Money Magazine again.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah,
he was the cover again.
Really?
Again. But Money said, on a positive note, he's not pitching investments as much. He's not giving investment advice like he used to.
Remember,
apparently it got to him finally. He said, all right, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Is that ridiculous? You own the one fund, you would have made 14%. Whatever it is, don't call me.
No, it's 12.
Whatever it was. There is no such fund. And I have not been a long listener, but the one time I listened, he gave some actual incorrect advice on an IRA. It was actually wrong.
Really?
It was actually
incorrect advice from Dave, huh?
No, it was actually other than the investing side, which I guess you could get into an argument with. But
anyway. his strength is evangelical debt reduction.
Which, by the way, if you follow that's a great start.
Well,
really,
anything if you get rid of your debt, that's a great start.
It is. So.
855-935-TALK. That's our number, and that's good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, too, if you don't get through to the show. But if you get through to the show, there's a bonus. You get a live conversation and a book.
Yeah.
I wasn't killing a bug. I was like...
I thought you were hitting the bunny again.
I'm beating the bunnies. All right, Rita, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hello, Rita.
Hello, good morning. I have a question. I'd like some clarification because I am totally bewildered by it. And I listen to you guys and all the advisors and even Dave Ramsey and all. And let's see if I can make it a simple question so you can give me a clear answer. They started about 20 years ago talking about Social Security not going to be enough for people to retire on. And it obviously isn't anymore. And they started saying everybody should invest. And call a financial person. He'll help you invest or tell you to invest. And so that's been going on for a long time. And I hear people all the time prior to retirement age asking, well, what do they invest in? And something called commodities and something called insurance companies. And but all these things they invest in, companies that are growing and insurance companies, those rates and prices keep going up. So I'm real bewildered as to how you're still ever going to have enough to retire on when you finally get to retirement age with everything continuously going up. And then if we switch over to socialism on medical and the insurance is suddenly invalid, you don't have insurance companies, that's a huge part of the investment market, isn't it? So I'd just like a little clarification on a real simple, non-educated level.
And that's fine. Well, let's go back first. Let's go back where you started, Rita, about Social Security. Now, this is a misconception. Social Security was started in the mid-1930s because there was no sort of, as they call, safety net. People were living a little longer. They had nothing when they quit working. There was no income.
And let me just add that prior to the 1930s, pretty much the average person died prior to getting to 65.
So there were people living a little longer. And so the idea there was that was really just, as I say, a safety net. It was never intended to be the majority of your retirement, which it has become, by the way. The numbers are staggering. But to your question about, well, then how do I invest? Because what I think I'm hearing is to sort of do better than inflation. Because if you just put it in
I think
a
that's
bank
what
or
you
CD,
said.
then you don't really, you're just sort of, as you say, things are getting more expensive, whether it's healthcare, which has been very dramatic over the last 20 years, or just the simple cost of gasoline, which by the way, a little aside, I was in California where I paid $4.49 a gallon for gasoline. Holy cow. But the point is,
at least it wasn't a liter.
Yeah, exactly. The point is, yes, stocks, securities, investments in companies broadly diversified have provided a far greater gain than inflation over a long period of time. Don?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you're hearing. You're hearing the noise out there in the financial press. You're hearing people talking about getting this hot thing or that hot thing, or getting into commodities, or getting into some sort of fancy insurance policy. There's a lot of talk, but the reality is, since well before Social Security was invented, stocks have relatively consistently beaten inflation by a pretty substantial margin.
7% a year.
Averaged out over time.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So that's how you do it. But the trick is you cannot invest in a way that exceeds your comfort level with taking risk. And stocks are risky. They go up and they go down. There is no such thing, and this is what so many people want. They want an absolutely safe place to put their money that will make them more money than inflation. Well, that will never happen. It's not possible. It's an impossibility. Make sense?
So to go back to what we were
about insurance companies, if we ended up switching over and not having insurance companies?
Well, that's a speculative. We don't know. I mean, we don't, because that's like saying today there are no longer anybody making buggy whips, right? At one time, that was a huge part of the economy, and now they're not making those anymore.
I'll give you another one. What happened to travel agents? They went away.
Yeah, there you go.
We have so many parts of the economy that as economies evolve, things go away. You don't have as many factory workers as we had in the 20th century. Jobs have changed. Economies changed. Let's say we do get some sort of semblance of nationalized health care. There will still be money going to doctors and hospitals and pharmaceutical companies. So a few insurance companies might go out of the healthcare business, but for most of them, that's only a small part of their total business anyway. They'll shift to something else and sell you something else.
By the way, that's the reason that you invest globally in a lot of different types of companies, because we don't know, and this may shock you, one day even Amazon will no longer exist. I don't know when that, but these things come along. They're great ideas. They work for a while. And then you can see Sears, you can see others where that idea just no longer functions as it once did. That's okay because you've invested in a lot of different economies, a lot of different companies, and over time, those have made you more. It's about by 7% in terms of real return over inflation. And that has been enough if you've been a saver, because we started out the show talking about our friend Paul Merriman, who said if you just put $83 away a month, going back to 1970, by the end of last year, guess what? You had $1.8 million, and you didn't have to do anything. And that is substantially more than inflation.
Remain patient.
Which gets back to what you said. You need to know your tolerance for the ups and the downs. That's the key.
And that's really what sticks so many people there. And I understand your frustration.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Really, really, truly do. But the way of the world is different than often we would like it to be.
Well, and people want something simple. Just give me the box to check.
Yeah.
And that's a little more complicated.
Wall Street is way too happy to provide that to you.
Indeed.
The problem is the box that they give you, the little money in a box kit, makes them more money in many cases than it does you.
Most of the time, sadly.
Yeah, which is sad. 855-935-TALK. Remember, you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I believe in helping everybody become a better investor. That's why we offer lots of free knowledge at TalkingRealMoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And if you're looking for more information on how you build the retirement income you need to supplement Social Security, because Social Security is not going to support you, you really should go see Tom's Lunch Ed class coming up on May 1st, Wednesday at noon. It's called The Science of Retirement Income, and you get lunch and a class for $10. You know, pretty good deal. But there are only 3 seats left now. Yes, just 3 seats left, so you better get them soon. Go to TalkingRealMoney.com. That is TalkingRealMoney.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?